You guys forget your red hats today?
Come on, man. Yeah, real fun.
Just checking.
We know. It's cold. Leave us alone.
All right.
We'll get inside soon.
We are currently in day 39 of the government shutdown. And so far, Trump is using SNAP benefit as a political issue. We know that during the previous shutdown in Americans' history, the president can still fund SNAP benefit.
Let me be clear. The president has both the funding and the authority to fund SNAP during a shutdown. In fact, every other president in every other shutdown has done so. People going hungry in this instance is a choice that this president has made.
But Trump is using hunger as a political weapon to force Democrats to accept the hike in healthcare premium, or else people will starve. They have thought that the American people will blame the Democrat for shutting down the government, and they were assuming that a lot of blacks are using the SNAP benefit. That's why you see on social media, it's a lot of conservative accounts making fun of the SNAP benefit. But that's not the case. If you look at a lot of soup kitchens and bread lines right now, you would see that it's not the color that people expect. As you can see, more white people are on SNAP than blacks. But you know, MAGA, they don't like data. And the Republicans seem to focus more on spreading misinformation.
Look how long this line is to the food bank because the food stamps did not come through. And I want y'all to let me know if I'm tripping or not. But this line looks very bright, very light. We can talk about per capita all day, but we can't deny what is right in front of us. Y'all are the ones in the food bank line because y'all are the majority of people that relied on food stamps. A plus B equals C, boys and girls. And your racism for blacks and Hispanics is so irrational that you voted for a man that is starving you because he promised to starve us first. Y'all are truly the definition of cutting off your nose to spite your face. And so now you're going to wait in that line. You're going to stand there and you're going to humble yourself and you're going to wait in that line. And just to think that y'all tried to shame and embarrass us for being on food stamps, the little bit of us. These are the people that have inherited a 400-year head start, got white privilege, never went into slavery here in America, and here they are in the food bank line. Quite frankly, I'm embarrassed for y'all.
But the election last week Tuesday was clear, and it terrified the Republicans. So last week's election determined who Americans are blaming for the government shutdown and affordability issue in America. And as you know, Democrat won across the board, even in ruby red Kentucky. They flipped enough seats to overturn the supermajority in the state house in Kentucky. So now Trump, realizing that the shutdown is hurting Republicans and hurt Republicans in last week's election, he started floating this idea of giving $2,000 in tariff stimulus check. Let me read out a message that he put on his Truth social media account. He goes, "People that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation." He lies so much. First of all, every single comment that he just stated is a lie. We're not respected. I mean, if you saw that video that he went to South Korea to meet the Chinese president, the Chinese president kept him waiting. The Chinese president embarrassed Trump. And what did we get for this tariff? Let's continue. 401ks are highest ever. Well, first of all, most Americans are not investing in their 401k. And Wall Street and Main Street are totally different. As we remember during COVID, when the stock market was going high, people were losing their job. So the stock market at the moment is not a reflection of the real economy, and everybody knows that. But let's go ahead. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down an enormous debt of 37 trillion. What a lie. Okay, America is currently getting about $2 billion a day, and that was before the pause in tariff with China. $2 billion a day in tariff that America was bringing in. Do you know how much it will cost? Do you know how long it would take to pay off 37 trillion with 2 billion in tariff every single day? And guess who's paying that tariff? Folks, it's not China. China is not paying the tariff. Other countries are not paying the tariff. The tariff is the reason why everything in the grocery store is expensive, because you are paying the tariff. Let's continue. Record investment in the USA. Plants and factories going up all over the place. Totally false information. The record investment in the USA, most 80% of the investment in the S&P 500 is in AI. It's not because of the tariff. AI is not even the real economy. That's the reason why the stock market is going high. It's in AI, building data centers. So this is not even the real economy. How many MAGA is in AI? How many Americans are benefiting from that AI? Nvidia rose from about $2 trillion to $4 trillion in value. How many Americans are receiving any of those values? No, it's just making the rich people that already have those stocks richer. And the next comment is, he said, plants and factories are going up all over the place. That is not true. What happened after Trump implemented this tariff? What his people realize is that a lot of companies' supply chain, when I mean supply chain, I mean all the components that goes into making parts are shipped from China and assembled in the United States. So a lot of companies, for example, John Deere, moved to Mexico because they rather pay tariff on an assembly than paying a tariff for components. Mind you, Mexico have made a special arrangement with the Donald Trump administration on tariff. So those companies are just moving to Mexico and importing their Chinese-made components tax-free and then shipping it back to the United States. So if you are a country and you want to bypass Trump tariff, just bribe him, buy his crypto, and he will give you maybe a pass for a certain amount of days. That's what he's been doing. Donald Trump's family have been making billions off this tariff. His kids are all over the place. So this idea of record investment in the US, well, record investment for his family, and there is no plant or factory going up all over the place. Maybe data centers are going up all over the place. And we know that AI is a bubble. Everybody knows it's a bubble. Even the CEO of Facebook, OpenAI, they all admitted that AI is a bubble. And we don't know when it's going to bust. So this is not real economy. Notwithstanding that this $2,000 tariff stimulus is very inflationary, imagine if a Democrat was the one that is giving this out, what the reaction would be. Because I see a lot of conservative media celebrating this. And at the same time, they are making fun of people that are losing their food stamps. But you want to give them $2,000 that the so-called a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high income people. So you're making fun of people that are getting denied food stamp, but you want to give them $2,000 a person. Like, make that make sense. We all know that this is a scam. And how do we know that? That's because 4 months ago or 5 months ago, they were telling us that we're going to get a stimulus check for all the money Doge saved. Remember Doge? Elon Musk was supposed to save $3 trillion from all the government waste and abuse. Well, where is it now? Where is the stimulus? So all this is just one of Donald Trump's propaganda to put out a false narrative that America is bringing in so much money from taxes of other countries. Now Americans poor are going to get the dividend. It's just a fake populist posture. And they are hoping that people don't read, because if you do, you will understand that tariff functions like a broad consumption tax. Even Treasury-owned revenue data and tracker describe tariff as revenue that is collected from U.S. business at the border, not from those countries, not from China, but U.S. businesses. And guess what happened? Those businesses turn around and increase the prices at your grocery stores. So after a 7 months trade war with China, are we better off now than we were? Because right now, China and the United States are on a truce on tariff. They paused the tariff. But are we better off now than before? The answer is no. Because of this trade war with China, many farmers have been bankrupt. Beef farmers, soybeans farmers have lost market share to Brazil and Argentina. Many American companies have moved overseas. So just like the Doge dividend, this is just a distraction that Trump is throwing out there to shift the news cycle from people blaming him and the Republicans for the government shutdown, the inflation, and the situation in the economy. Because so far, the Democrats are winning the message. And the election last week, Tuesday, showed Trump the position of the American people. So now he's trying to change the narrative by throwing out this clickbait. And it's kind of funny to see all this conservative, so-called conservative media outlet that's supposed to be screaming about how damaging giving that much money to people and how that would affect the debt, the $37 trillion debt, and how inflationary that is. I mean, that's the reason why we're in this mess to begin with, is because of those stimulus that was given because of COVID shutdown. That's the reason why there's so much inflation, which was going down during the Biden administration, but now it's starting to go back up, and unemployment is going back up, which is the reason why the federal government decided to lower the interest rate. So just another fake news by Trump to deceive his audience and the media, to throw off the media from the Republican election defeat last Tuesday.